Hello everyone, this is Lenin from PGN Research Department of English, St. Joseph's College of Arts and Science, Kadalur 1. This video is uploaded for the class 2nd MA English. The title of the paper is Subaltern Literature and the title of discussion is a novel written by Mulk Raj Anand, that is Coolie. Here we have the picture of the author Mulk Raj Anand. He is famously known as M.R. Anand in the Indian literary circle. Mulk Raj Anand was born on 1905 Peshawar. It's now in the province of Pakistan. Peshawar was one with India before Indian independence and Indo-Pakistan partition. He died on the years 2004 in Pune. He lived almost a century. He is famously known as an Indian writer in English, notable for his depiction of the lives of the poorer caste in traditional Indian society. He is a well-known writer who is known for the oppressed people, the subaltern people, the marginalized, and the people who are downtrodden. He is one of the pioneers of Indo-Anglo fiction. Actually, three writers are regarded as the triumvirs of Indian English fiction. They are Raja Rao, Mulk Raj Anand, and R.K. Narayan. M.R. Anand started his literary career in England, where he used to publish short reviews in T.S. Eliot's famous magazine Criterion. He was also the recipient of India's highly regarded Literature Award, Sahitya Academy Award, for his novel The Morning Face, published in the year 1968. He was also awarded with Padma Bhushan, that is India's third last civilian award, in the year 1967 for his contribution towards literature and education. Now, the theme in Mulk Raj Anand's novel. Mulk Raj Anand always be known as a writer for his novels and short stories. His writings are rich with the realistic and touching portrayal of the problems of the common man. As I said earlier, he is a writer who is for the common man. He wrote numerous articles and essays on Marxism, Indian independence, and other political issues. Since his time was peak time of Indian independence, other political issues, he wrote numerous essays and articles on Marxism, on economics. His novel deals with untouchability, exploitation, power, and the suffering of the Indian masses. Untouchability is a practice which is being done on the lower class, on the lower caste, the downtrodden by the dominating society. Exploitation of money, exploitation of power, exploitation of resources, exploitation of values, and the suffering of the Indian masses. Here masses refers to the marginalized people. He was also noted for a perspective insight into the lives of the oppressed and the analysis of exploitation and misfortune. Again and again, M.R. Anand is known for the writer of the common people. As far as his novels are concerned, he produced Untouchable in the year 1935, Across the Black Waters in 1939, The Sword and the Sickle in 1942, Coolie in 1936, The Private Life of an Indian Prince in the year 1953, and The Village in 1939. If you look into these works, he produced all his major works before Indian independence. That means he had the impact of British education. He had the impact of the British knowledge. So as far as our topic is concerned, Coolie, this novel is published in the year 1936. This is about a 14-year-old boy, Munnu, as a victim of an exploitative system. His innocent life, how his innocent life is crushed under the cruelty of the world. This is not all about a man or a woman or a age-old person or a politician or a wealthy person or a landlord, but it is a story of a 14-year-old boy, how he got exploited by the Indian society, people of various section, people of various strata. Munno experienced all the negative aspects of the world throughout his life. Throughout his life, actually, Munno, if we go further, we shall see Munno died at the age of 15, at a very young age, before he knew what is world, before he knew what is life, before he knew what could be life. His journey from innocence to experience is meditated through ideologies of suppression and empowerment. The word suppression plays a very key role here, because Munno happens to travel to different parts of India. All the places where he traveled, he got only suppression, oppression, exploitation, outcast. Thus, Coolie captures the evils of class system, which is greater than caste system, and suffering and problem of the outcast. Here, outcast refers to the age. Outcast refers to the position of Munno. How Anand's novel should be. Anand always wrote for social reality, society. Through his writing, he exposed several of India's evil practices. Most of his works are commentary on the social structure of his time. Since he is a writer who produced all his major works before Indian independence, we could very well think what are all the evil practices before 1947. He attacks casteism, classism, deep sorrow and sympathy for the unfortunate poor and their inability of cope with circumstances. Actually, all the subaltern writers, all the writers who wrote for the oppressed class, the marginalized class, focus on casteism, classism, power, money. These are all the structures of society who played a dominant role in realizing the fact of society. Taboos of caste, untouchability, the blind belief in superstitions, inhumanity of people, which is very reality of India. These are all the evil practices before 1960s. That's what M.R. Anand also captured through his novels. M.R. Anand, by his novels, shows very realistic picture of India. He is not a writer who imagined romantics. He is not a writer who wanted to transcend the time, but he was a writer who wanted to give the picture as it is, the picture of India as it is. As far as our novel is concerned, we shall see the main characters of the novel. Munno, as we discussed earlier, Munno, the protagonist of the novel. Dayaram, Munno's uncle. Babu Natharam, he is a clerk in a bank. Seth Prabha Dayal, he is the owner of pickle factory. Ganapath, Prabha's partner, he is a cruel-natured person. Tulsi, Munno's friend, one of the employee in the pickle factory. Harihar, employee in white cotton mills, also Lakshmi's wife. Jim Thomas and Chinta Sahib, supervisor at Sir George White Cotton Mills. Ratan, important figure in this novel, Munno's friend, member of Indian National Trade Union. Mrs. Mainwaring, Anglo-Indian. So, the summary. Coolie was written by Mulk Raj Anand in the year 1936. The novel concerns on the British rule and rigid caste system of India. As a writer of social practice, as a writer who wanted to depict the social system of India, M.R. Anand focused on how the British rule was and also the solid, rigid caste system of India. What is the meaning of the title Coolie? Coolie is a term for unskilled laborer. Here, the protagonist, Munno, is an orphan who lives with his aunt and uncle after his parents died. From the very beginning, we have been exposed to a world of a small boy who lost his parents at a very young age before he knew what is world. He travels to Bombay first and to many parts of India, which makes his childhood comes to an end. Throughout the novel, we shall see he is a migrant. He migrates from one place to another place for his livelihood, for living, for yearning, for job. In the beginning, Munnu travels with his uncle to work as a servant to a bank clerk, Babu Nathuram. But he was mistreated by his master's wife. But in that same very place where he ill-treated, he admires his master's younger brother, that is Babu Nathuram's younger brother, Premchand, who is a doctor. After accidentally injuring Sheila, Babu Nathuram's daughter, Munnu is beaten very badly and decides to run away. So this is where the first sort of exploitation done on Munnu. He was badly beaten by the master's wife and he decided to run away from his house. After his bitter experience in Bombay, Munnu goes to Daulatpur where he is taken by Prabha, who is a friend of Munnu, who runs a pickle factory there. Prabha and his wife are so kind to Munnu, but the work is very hard there. Prabha's own business partner, Ganpat, who cheats him and leaves him bankrupt. Unexpectedly, Prabha's business partner, Ganpat, cheat Prabha and make him bankrupt. So this causes again a disappointment in the life of Munnu, where he becomes jobless again. Prabha loses the factory and Munnu is left alone to look after himself once again. When and where Munnu goes to work, he was chased by emptiness. No job, no money, no food, no shelter, no one to look after him. Actually, Munnu is a sign and a symbol of a personality who had been dismantled by the society of the modern India. Next, Munnu meets an elephant driver who is traveling to Bombay with a circus and decides to join them. At first, Munnu is related with Bombay, but soon he realizes that even in Bombay, the nation's trade market, the nation's Manchester of India, coolies must sleep on the streets. Bombay is very well known for its high class living, business people, industrialists, but coolies must sleep on the streets. So with the disappointment, he again finds a work at St. George White's cotton mill and he meets Ratan, who is a wrestler and also a member of Workers' Union. Ratan plays a very vital role in Munnu's life, in Munnu's character modification, because Ratan always resists people who are there to impose him power, to impose him struggle. Ratan is a man who has chosen to fight with his masters and reject the exploitative conditions in which he labors. Ratan always fight with their masters for justice, for power, for money, for everything done on the working people. But a bad picture comes as a riot breaks out in the cotton mill and Munnu becomes lost his job once again in the bank clerk's house where he had been badly beaten by the master's wife, in the pickle factory where the factory becomes bankrupt, in the circus company where he realized the coolies must sleep on the streets. Now in the cotton mill again, Munnu faces the same fate. He lost his job. While he was wandering with no job, with no money, with no food in the streets, he is run over by a car of Mrs. Mainwaring's. Mainwaring is Anglo-Indian, a British settler in India. As compensation, she hires him as a servant and takes him to Shimla. So we could see how Munnu's life had been oscillated in different parts of India. Daulatpur, Bombay, now Shimla. Mrs. Mainwaring offers Munnu's insight into another dimension of Indian society. So far, till now, Munnu did not witness any of high-class people Munnu did not have any connection with the high class members of the society, Indian society. His uncle and aunt, clerk, bank clerk, and then pickle factory, Prabha, and then Ratan, who is a trade union member. These are all the places Munnu saw the life of poor. But now, for the first time in his life, he witnessed a life of a high class Indian society. Munnu's job in Shimla was a servant, and he had to pull the rickshaw. Nowadays we have all the modern equipments. We don't have rickshaw at present, but before Indian independence, rickshaw was a main tool of transport. Munnu was both physically and mentally ill, and his lungs got affected by pulling rickshaw. Slowly and steadily, Munnu lost his health. There was a gradual decline in his health. So he was advised to take complete rest by a doctor, but it could not save him. Despite the kindness that Mrs. Mainwaring shows him, Munnu contracts tuberculosis and dies at the age of just 15. Just think of a person, think of a boy, think of a boy who is just 15 years old, who travels to the extensive parts of India, dies with no one to take care of him, with no one to give him food, with no one to give him shelter, with no one to give him care and love and affection. He died at a very young age. So this was a society of India, how it treated the downtrodden, the marginalized. Downtrodden means people who are oppressed. Coolie is a devastating account of the poverty and exploitation of the downtrodden. This is what M.R. Anand wanted to focus. This is what M.R. Anand wanted to impose to the so-called upper class people. This is the picture, sad picture of a boy who had been hit by poverty and exploitation of the downtrodden. Anand shows how the racial and class hierarchies imposed by British colonialism and caste system of India had made life impossible for coolies. Here coolie is not only Munnu, there are thousands of thousands Munnus were there who were left unnoticed. Here M.R. Anand pictured the life of a single boy, but there were thousands of thousands Munnus were present. Munnu has no real control over his life. He moves from one place to another in search of a job or a home. Since we saw the life of Munnu, we could see how he had been torn between places, torn between people, torn between situations. He has no control over his life. He moves from one place to another, and also he was in search of job or else home. In his travels and through the various people he meets, he moves from one transit to another. At any point, let it be in the place of a bank clerk, Babu Natharam, let it be in the place of Prabha, let it be in the place of Ratan, let it be the place of Mrs. Mainwaring, he could not find a solace to his problems. Tragedy after tragedy, problem after problem. Munnu's death raises the question of whether there can be any future for a coolie if nothing changes. Through Munnu, M.R. Anand wanted to pinpoint this issue. Issue means how the downtrodden are considered, how the downtrodden are safeguarded, how the oppressed people of India are controlled. This is what M.R. Anand wanted to convey to his readers through Munnu. Actually, Munnu is an icon of so many Munnus in India. So with this, I conclude the summary of the novel Coolie by M.R. Anand. Hope you all benefited out of this video. Thank you for your patience. Soon I will join with you with the next video. Until then, all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you.